So today we're going to be talking about some summer reading recommendations, and I don't know why that was so hard to say, but these are just books that make me think of summertime. You guys know me, I love me some historical fiction, so it's a little heavy on that side, but we're just going to get into it. The first book that I have here is a classic, and this is Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell. I feel like this makes me think of summertime because the first time I read it was 6 years ago in the summertime. I am actually going on a trip to Yosemite this summer, and I'm not entirely sure, but I think this is what I want to bring with me because I have read it before. I'm going to be on vacation, and I don't know how much time I'll have to read, and I don't want something that I have to pay a ton of attention to. I guess the first time around you kind of do, but this one it's nostalgic for me for the summertime. I loved it the first time around. Scarlett is such like a you love her but you hate her all at the same time kind of character. She's resilient but she's really petty. It's kind of an interesting perspective, or like an interesting person to watch, because on one hand she's like so commendable because she just gets things done, but then on the other hand she is so like petulant and catty and like babyish that it drives you crazy. Although I knew this obviously when I first read it, but I forgot how big of a span of time this book covers, because I think when the book starts she's like 16, and then when it ends she's either in her late 20s or early 30s. So you go through quite a span of her life. But I really, really did love this the first time. I would love to reread it and like annotate it this time. But yeah, I think this one will be a perfect read for summertime. And like for me, sometimes I just get nostalgic because whatever time of year I read the book in the first time, it just makes me think of that book and that season together. I know like some people associate books with like candles, but a lot of times I'll associate books with like seasons or like an event or something, or a vacation. So I feel like this book would be awesome to read on a really awesome vacation. The next book that I have here is also a classic, but a classic that I haven't read yet, and this is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. You guys can holler at me if you think that this is not a summer read, because honestly, I've never read it. I don't know what's in here. I don't know what season it's set in, but there's just something about this book. I read like the first page and I just thought, you know what, this one, if I'm gonna get to a classic this summer, because I haven't actually read any classics this year yet, I think this one, well, I guess this one, but I've read this one before. But if I'm gonna read a new classic, I think this one would be something that I would really enjoy for the summertime. And I kind of love how the book is huge, but the writing is all in the center. It makes it feel like the pages go by way faster. My copy of Jane Eyre is like that too, and it's awesome. This is the Paper Mill Press edition from Book Outlet if you're looking for this specific edition. Pretty sure Book Outlet still has it. I'm not sure, I haven't checked, but they, I think, exclusively sell the Paper Mill Press copies. I could be wrong, but it's absolutely a beautiful edition and I'm super excited to read it at some point. But this one just kind of screamed summertime. Also, the cover is really bright and like just makes me happy. The next one is a contemporary. It's called The Summer of Secrets. Now, I probably read this book like 8 years ago and I do want to do a reread. I don't know if I'll do it this summer, but I did love this book. I remember sobbing the first time I read it, and I'm not 100% sure what all happens, but I remember like the twist. There's sort of a twist in this one, and I remember this like big reveal happening and just sobbing and just thinking it was awesome. So it's about this girl named Hope, and I'm just reading off the back because I can't even summarize it. I know how I felt, but I'm like, I cannot remember exactly what happened. But it says, Hope Gardner can't run from her past forever. Hope's always been a drifter, and there's no way she's risking a career, responsibilities, or being tied down. Why would she, after surviving a difficult and unhappy childhood? She just wants to be free and have fun. And she plans this trip, I can't say abroad, oh my goodness. She plans this trip abroad and a last-ditch attempt to take control of her life, and she's in for more of a change than she bargained for. Tragedy strikes and her trip is canceled. And then it says she must confront the secrets she's been desperate to avoid and the fact that she might not be the only one with things to hide. And like I said, I can't remember exactly what happens, but I remember there's a romance I totally was into in this book. I remember there was this really, really big thing that happened and it just made me bawl my eyes out. It was so heartbreaking. So if you guys want a really, really good summer read, and you guys know I don't read a lot of like contemporary stuff, so I was looking around to try and find things to recommend and I couldn't really find anything that I thought was like sweet and summery. But I think this one is a really, really good one, and like literally I read this, I borrowed it from a friend. I don't know where she got it from, but anyway, I wanted my own copy and neither of us could remember what it was called, and I went on this huge Google search just so I could find it. So clearly I really, really enjoyed it the first time that I read it, that I needed to find a copy of my own, and I had to go on like a Google hunt to figure out what that book was called. And I have a mosquito bite and it is so itchy and I'm trying not to scratch it and it's so hard. Okay. The next book is a book that I actually just recently read, and it is The Last Time I Saw Paris. It is a World War II historical fiction, and it's about this woman who kind of escapes a bad marriage and she goes overseas at the beginning of World War II and she wants to live in Paris. It has this lovely little flower shop setting, and Madame, who is the lady who owns the flower shop, is like one of those like kind of funny old ladies where she's like strict but really, like, I don't know, she's kind of hard, but she's also, like, soft in the center. She's very prim and proper, and she wants things to be a certain way. And apparently, I only put one tab in the whole book. It wasn't the deepest read. It wasn't, like, a life-changing read, but I loved the main character. I loved her story. The romance was adorable, and it just had a very sweet ending, and I just, like, it was everything that I needed when I read it. So if you're looking for, like, a sweet Paris-centered historical fiction with some espionage and like actually a little bit of like scary-ish moments and things, drama if you will, definitely an underrated read. I got this off of Book Outlet as well. I just grabbed it on a whim and I was really glad that I picked this up because it ended up being like a diamond in the rough, and I think I gave it 4 stars. I really, really liked this one. And next, I have Montauk, which I do want to reread this summer. You guys know I am obsessed with this. By the time this goes up, I don't know if my Montauk book talk will already be up or if it's just coming up. I will card it up here whenever it's live. I did do a book talk on this right after I read it, so I didn't have a copy to hold in the video, but gosh, guys, this book stole my heart this year. Nicola Harrison did such an amazing job with this book. It caught me off guard. I love historical fiction, but I'm not a huge romance person. You guys know that. Or at least I didn't think I was. Now I'm kind of craving another romance or something, and I don't really know why because it's not like me, but it's just, it can either go really good or really bad for me. This one, we follow this main character named Beatrice who grew up kind of like in the country, not poor, but like on the lesser side of things. And after some family tragedies and things, she ends up moving to New York and marrying pretty much the first guy that she meets, and he ends up being kind of a dick. Anyway, she gets to spend the summer at this manor in a town fishing village called Montauk, and her husband is working in the city. There is some really sweet friendships that come. I think this would make an amazing movie. I don't know if they have any plans to make it into a movie, but I have a feeling that this would make a really great movie. But in town, like, she makes these really great friendships, and there's a romance and a very, like, bittersweet ending without giving away too much. It was so good. It surprised me so much. I was not expecting to love it as much as I did. Actually, I had 2 e-arcs that month, and I had one that I was really excited about, and this one that I just kind of thought would be cute. This one I absolutely fell head over heels in love with, 5 stars, and the other one I think I gave like 2 stars. It was a total dud for me, and so it was just funny how like things can surprise you. But I needed to get a copy of this for myself. A, because I want to reread it. I could do it on my phone, but you know how I feel about the real thing. And B, I wanted to lend this out to at least my sister and one of my friends, if not a couple of my friends. I just think that this is, I just love it. I just loved it so much. I was so surprised. And this one has like a summer setting. It's all set during summer, so it's like a perfect beach read set at this little resort. It's awesome. And then the last book that I have is Lost Roses, which is a World War I historical fiction. And if you've read Lilac Girls, I believe this is the story of Eliza. I think her name's Eliza. Eliza Faraday, who is Caroline's mother. So Lilac Girls, we follow Caroline and some other girls during World War II. This is her mother's perspective, and I'm not sure what the other perspectives are exactly during World War I. And again, I don't know if this is set, I'm sure this is set during the entire war, so we go through all the seasons, but this is another one that I really want to read this summer because I read Lilac Girls and I really enjoyed it, and I think I'm really gonna love this one as well. I'm just super excited. You guys know. I have a soft spot for historical fiction. I just do. I gravitate toward it so much. I do have like fantasy that I'm gonna be reading this summer, but I don't really know. I feel like for me, I could read that at any time of the year, and because they're so long, I will be reading them at any time of the year. So I don't really know what to recommend in that sense. Anyway, guys, that is everything when I looked around on my shelves that caught my eye firsthand for summer reads, either things I want to read, things I want to reread, or things that just remind me of summer. I will talk to you guys all super soon. Don't forget to drop me a line down below and let me know what you think a good recommendation for a summer read would be, if you read any of these or if you want to read any of these. And while you're down there, hit subscribe and don't forget to hit the bell so you don't miss future notifications. I will talk to you guys all super soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.